Greetings, Poe fans. Welcome to another edition of Poe Unplugged. I am Carmen Bolden.
And I am Jeanie Smith, and we are
The Potastic Two.
Come zoom with us into the Unbook Club dedicated to the works of Mr. Edgar Allan Poe.
Recording in progress.
Welcome back, Poe fans. It is another wonderful time for the Poe Unpluggers. Tonight we are going to discuss the third installment of the Dupin magazine series. It was a magazine series. Was it newspaper or magazine? Can't remember.
I think magazine.
I think it was a magazine.
Yeah. Of Poe's magazine short stories. And this one, the Purloined Letter, of course, takes place once more in France with our wonderful detective, C. Auguste Dupin.
Mm-hmm.
So
Good
would anyone like
pronunciation
to...
there. Impressed.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Would anyone like to hop on the wagon here and take us in, or do you want me to start it out? Anybody?
Or the hop in the mailbag.
I don't want to hop in no mailbag.
I probably have the unpopular opinion, so we can start with. I'll start, and then everybody can say the opposite.
Yay.
Okay.
Go for it. I love it.
Okay, so you've heard me say before that Marie Rocher, the second one, is my favorite, and I stand by that after reading this again. I wasn't going to read this again because I've read so many times, but I reread it. So I'm going to Marie Rocher is my favorite, then followed by the Rue Morgue, then this one. I don't know why. Like, I like it. I enjoyed it, especially like the first time you can only read it. Once you know like the whole point, it loses some of its luster. But like, I don't know. I mean, I do enjoy it. I don't know. There's just something about it. So that's why I'll say that for this part. It's my least favorite. I enjoy it. It's fun. It has the same cast of characters again. With the cop or whatever. I forgot the word. It wasn't inspector or whatever. So whatever. That's all I'm going to say. You guys go. Thank you. I'm having a hard time speaking. Yeah, I mean, okay. I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. It's my least favorite.
Okay.
I kind of feel the same way, Holly.
Oh, really, Gary? Because this is everyone's favorite always. So that's awesome. Yay.
I read the whole thing and I thought, okay, all right. So then I cheated and looked a bunch of stuff up, Googling, because I'm like, I don't think I got it. And then come to find out it really doesn't have an ending. Oh, well, yeah, no kidding. Yeah. I just thought it was different.
Well, I was telling Carmen. Okay, go ahead, Steve. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I mean, kind of playing off Holly and Gary, with Rue Morgue and with Marie Rocher, you really have a mystery about kind of a whodunit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And this was just, where's the letter?
Yeah.
And it's much less, to me, it's much less compelling. The stakes.
I agree with you.
The stakes are, you just don't get as excited about it as you do a murder or whatever.
Yeah. Or horror.
The very end, I think, is a little redemptive because at the end, you kind of have this explanation of, this is where it's hidden. It's hidden in plain sight, which is kind of a fun concept. Mm-hmm. And then you also get the kind of revenge aspect where you learn that Dupin had kind of crossed swords with this guy once before. And, he leaves the fake letter that kind of lets him know that you've been bested. So there's a little bit.
And I see that.
But everything leading up to it is just like, it's hard feeling very invested in this whole mystery.
Yeah, that's how I felt too. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, this time around, I don't want to say it was a chore to read it because I already knew what happened, but I found myself enjoying it less this time than the last time I had reread it, which was, I think, I don't know, probably like a year ago. So I was kind of surprised by my reaction, but I'm also a mood reader, and I just really wasn't in the particular mood for this story today. So that could be affecting my overall view of today, but because I am totally moody.
I don't think my mood affected me. I had never read this particular one before for whatever reason. Okay. And like I said, I read the whole thing and I got to the end and I'm like, so then I started looking stuff up, and when I started looking stuff up and cheating, then it was like, okay, it kind of makes a little bit more sense since I've cheated here, but all this stuff moving up to like, oh, the letter's in the place perfectly right there, and hoo ha ha, I pulled a joke on you, and it just seemed kind of lackadaisical to me.
That was the shining star, though, right? When he's like, he writes out the check and he hands him the
Yeah,
letter. That was probably that little moment where my lip probably
yeah,
twisted up a little bit. I was like, yeah, you
right.
go with your bad self, Dupin, But yeah,
But it's just kind of like, I mean, usually when you're reading Poe, there's like lots of twists, like all over the place, and this was like,
Mhm.
what, the last sentence or so?
yeah, because it couldn't
Yeah,
really
that's
have
true.
another solution, right? I mean, he kind of, well, I mean, Poe does that a lot. Like he kind of tells you, they kind of hint at, like this is a really simple one. It's kind of, he kind of tells you from the beginning how it's going to end, which is fun, but um
It was not my favorite by any
like,
means.
yeah, like Steve said, what are the stakes? Someone's reputation is gonna get hurt, like
Yeah.
Do
political,
Mhm.
you
like
think,
political motives. Yeah,
does anybody think that the story would have been improved if Poe would have actually explained what was truly at stake? So you have a reputation, there's a personage who's going to be compromised, whatever. If you actually built up that story and you actually knew who was going to be compromised and what the
Mhm.
consequence was going to be, would that have helped
absolutely.
us be a little
Yeah,
more
if there had
invested
been
in the
something
story?
there to kind of just give some hints of how this is gonna
Yeah.
all turn out, and instead of waiting to the last sentence to kind of say, well, I've duped you and it was simple and you were
Well, but
not very
but but
smart.
even but even given that ending, I agree with you that that reveal at the end is kind of the whole thing hangs on. But I'm just saying that he's so obtuse and vague about
Yeah, oh
who's
yeah, no doubt.
why this matters. If we really knew
Yeah,
why
that's
it
what I kept
mattered,
thinking
maybe
the
we'd
whole
care a
time.
little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, Poe always likes us to kind of make our own conclusions, but I 100% agree, Steve, because for me, I'm invested in a story if I care about the character. But who do we really care about here?
Yeah.
Well, we
There's
don't
no
even know who
one.
the character is.
Yeah,
That-
exactly.
that-
What's in the letter? We don't really have enough from the reader perspective to form
I,
any sort of like
it,
relationship with that character that's going to make us invested in the story as a whole.
it kind of
That's
feels
very
like a
true.
big lead up to part one. So where the hell's part two?
Yeah.
All
Right.
right,
Yeah.
Dr. Jeff, what do you got to
Yeah,
say?
and I wish that we could have known D's and G's names. I
Yeah,
Yes.
like I don't like when
no,
writers say 18 blank or D
yeah,
blank. I want
yeah,
to
I don't
know
like
all of
it.
the details. And
Yeah.
Was he
one
afraid
of
he
the
was going to get
three is
charged
more
by
of
someone? Or
this one of the three is more of a stage bound um,
yeah,
Yeah.
story because the whole thing takes place in rooms, whereas in the other two stories, at least Dupin is outdoors or
right.
walking around or going somewhere. So
And
this
I enjoyed those other two
feels
stories a
very
lot more than
static.
this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a really good point about the stage bound part of it. I could see this being turned into a screenplay and acted out on
Mhm.
stage with him in,
Like
an
having only one
armchair.
act.
Yeah.
Has
Mhm.
Yeah.
anybody watched a video portrayal of this story?
I
No.
haven't. I
There,
don't even
there is
know.
one. There's one that I watched from I don't remember 1958, I think. Um, there was a series that I bet Dr. Jeff might know of. It was called Suspense.
Oh, yes.
It was an anthology series by Autolite, the Autolite spark plug people, and
Right.
so they did a version of this. It's like a 50-minute version of it, and they build up that whole story. They give a backstory of this woman who's going to be compromised, who is being blackmailed, and it makes it a much more interesting story. But it's
I may
available on
have to
YouTube
watch
if
that.
anybody wants to watch
Hmm.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds like it might.
I would
Yeah.
like to I would like to watch it because I think I now when I read Mirrors in the Rue Morgue way back when I was younger, Marie Roget same way, and the Purloined Letter I read as an adult and like an older adult, and I really loved it the first time I read it because I love that ending that just like boom. But today, Holly, kind of the same way. I picked an audio version, and it wasn't very good. I was listening to it before coming on here tonight, and Jeff listened to part of it, and he was like, "That's the worst recording ever," and it really was not good. And I think if I had had a better audio version, or if I had reread it just from print, I think I would have like been more like, whoo, I'm anxious to talk about it. But I didn't enjoy it as much today as I have in the past. And I think mood plays a big point in reading this story.
Well,
Yeah,
what I
good for
did
me.
was I read it, to myself
Hmm.
silently, about a fourth of it, and I thought, I'm just not getting this. So I went back to the beginning and started reading it out loud. That didn't really seem to help me in this particular case. So if you watched a bad video or listening thing, I mean, it wouldn't have helped your situation. Even me reading it out loud, it didn't seem to. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Well, for
Because,
Interest.
me,
I
Yeah.
mean,
Go
has the
ahead, Jen.
classic. Oh, sorry, Jeannie.
I was going to say that for me, this is this is Sherlock Holmes. This is where the Sherlock Holmes character truly developed, was from this story, because Sir Conan Doyle had to have read this book and then
Hmm. Hmm.
projected this character onto Sherlock Holmes.
Hmm.
Because the whole time I'm reading
I
it,
can
I'm
see
like,
that.
this is just like when Holmes has to go through his whole dialogue and his diatribe about how much smarter he is and how
Hmm.
much he knows and how stupid people are and how predictable they are, because that's exactly what I got out of this story. Was this is Poe's chance to really insult and degrade and to just kick people while they're down, or show how stupid people are, because that's what I got from this story. Because when the prefect shows up and he says, you know, I've done all this, I can't find it, because he's literally coming to Dupin to ask for help, even though he doesn't want to. And
Right.
Dupin tells him, you need to go back and look again. And so he goes
Which is
back, he
not much
looks
help.
again. And then 6 months later, he comes back. He
He
said, I
looks back
went,
again.
I looked, I still can't
Yeah.
find it. I don't know what to do. And I'm ready to pay someone 50,000 francs just to get this letter for me. And he says, get out your checkbook. And he says, are you sure? And he says, yes. He said, so make it out. And he makes out the check, $50,000. And then Dupin pulls that letter out and lays it in front of him, like, here you
You've been
go.
duped.
Yeah, and the
Finally, at
prefect
the
doesn't
end.
even ask him. Doesn't even
No.
ask him where he got it from, how he
Mm-mm.
got it, nothing about
Mm.
it. He's just so happy. And then that's when, at that moment, when the whole dialogue comes into play, because the narrator's asking him, how did you do this? And then that's where everything comes down to play, where he goes into about talking about how a young boy who beat all these people with the odds and evens, that he was a master at it. And all he was doing was playing people's mind games against them.
Yeah.
And he
Mm-hmm.
was, and then talking about, the difference between a poet and a mathematician,
Mm-hmm.
and how all of these things, and he literally was just saying that it's all about the psyche and how your interpretation, and how the prefect only sees and does procedures the way he does because that's the only way he thinks,
Yeah.
and that's why
Well,
he
and
would
I got
never
that. I
find
got
that
the
letter.
gist of that when I looked stuff up,
Yeah, and the point
more so
that
than
it
from the
was
story.
it was all about, in my opinion, it was all about where Poe was telling the story, but he was telling it from a mentalist point of view.
Yeah.
Because that's what he
Uh-huh.
was making Dupin out to be, is a mentalist.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
Someone that uses people's mannerisms, people's own
Uh-huh.
thoughts, and he makes himself a mirror of them. Because that's what he said. He said,
Yeah.
I made my face the mirror. I made them think that I was the same as they were. So then they gave away the secrets. And that's how he found the letter. Because he showed up with these spectacles on and made it out that he was, not a smart man.
Yeah.
But he found it in plain sight. And then he set it up to where he caused a disturbance outside. And like in the picture, the D is sticking his head out the window to see what the the thing is. And then, Dupin is grabbing the letters like, oh, thank you. Now, and then he just happily walks away. So, and then at the end, like you, I looked up because I'm not that into the whole translation, so I had to translate it to see what the exact story is.
Right. That's what I had to do.
Yeah, and the translation into where he tells him he needs to, in the letter, he needs to find the story. And it pretty much tells that this is his way of getting a type of revenge for something that was done to him many years ago. So to me,
which made sense after looking it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to me, this was all about Dupin's ability to show that he was superior, because this was a Sherlock Holmes moment, in my opinion. This whole story is Sherlock Holmes.
I agree with you, honestly.
Yeah,
I wish Micah were here tonight because he's
our
Sherlock Holmes expert. There was a Sherlock Holmes story called The Adventure of the Priory School, where Holmes had somebody else write him a check for revealing this information. It was very dramatic, just like this story. And I think Conan Doyle was, this is your point, I think, Jeanie. Conan Doyle was not above lifting various set pieces that he really liked from the Poe stories. And if you really go through Sherlock Holmes, that's why I wish Michael were here. I think you could come up with a dozen of these kind of echoes of Poe.
Yeah.
This is one of them.
Yeah.
Joseph Poe is
I'm sure you're right, Mr. Expert.
Yeah.
Well, and I can also see Hercule Poirot doing something similar as well.
Yeah, I could definitely agree with that.
To some extent, yeah. He was
very verbose,
his little gray cells, making his little gray cells work. But the whole thing about not having a background, and I do agree that was one of the things that bothers me the most, is you start a mystery, and the mystery is the letter being taken, but you're never told what the hell is the big deal about the letter. But in my mind, because it's saying that he's held this letter for 16 months and it's all about a political, so it's blackmail. And it makes me think more of that. The D here is more of like an organized crime. That he's holding it as a letter to control the political people in the area and keeping himself, and then he's going to use it as an end game sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, but to me, it's like the letter and what's written in the letter itself has no bearing on any of the story. So it's just
that kind of pissed me off.
Stolen letter, yeah. And but it's typical Poe, because Poe never, in my opinion, he never starts at the beginning and he never ends at the end.
Yeah.
He just throws something out there and says, okay, you want to put a beginning to it? Go ahead. You want to put an ending? Go ahead. But this is what I wanted to say, and this is how I had to say it, and you just have to like it or leave it.
Well, maybe some of his stories, like Telltale Heart, has more of a distinctive ending, and the other ones aren't so much, and you can kind of like, okay, did you figure this out? Or there could be more than one ending here. It just seems that the way he writes both kind of genres to me are different.
And maybe because he wrote for magazines and newspapers, he had in the back of his mind that he could continue any of these stories, you know.
Right. That's why I said I wish he'd written a part 2 to follow along, to go along with it. Maybe I would have liked it better.
Yeah. Since it was just
maybe that was his whole point too,
Yeah. One thing I would love to know, and I don't know if there's any kind of records at all about this, because he did, the 3 Dupin stories, and this one was 1844. I think Rue Morgue was 1841. Does that sound right?
It sounds right to me.
Okay, I can look it up real quick. But you kind of wonder. Yes, it was 1841. And I think Roget was 1843. And so within a span of, 3 to 4 years, he wrote these 3 stories. Was he going to create more with Dupin?
Sure, he would have, right?
Probably.
Now remind me of the year that he died.
1849.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he had a few years there,
Mm-hmm.
but he was also, hitting the drugs and hitting the alcohol and having the situation
Virginia
with his
died.
wife dying and everything else. And I don't think he was maybe writing as much than maybe he had been before. I mean, I could be wrong, but it just seemed like that toward the end he was just not putting stuff out so much.
And maybe he didn't trust himself to uh, create something as intricate as a story of ratiocination, solving a mystery.
I mean, I think he knew that he was failing and probably didn't want to be embarrassed toward the end.
Yeah, but at the same time, some of his best works came out of the last few years of his life because Annabel Lee, The Bells, Cask of Amontillado, all of that came out within the last few years of his life. So, but again, these were all centered around, serial magazines. And so if he did have something or an idea or fleshed it out a little bit and proposed it to a magazine, he may have gotten turned down. You never know.
Right.
It'd be curious to know.
Well, there were a lot of things that they published that they really didn't pay him very much and all that kind of stuff. So
absolutely, yeah.
Because it wasn't horror is really popular now, but back in those days, probably not so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, it really was popular, and that's why he wrote the few that he did, because it paid better, because that's what the people wanted.
Right.
And I think it's interesting how Mark Dawidziak told us that if we had called Poe a horror writer to his face, he wouldn't have known what we were talking about. He didn't know what that was and didn't consider himself that at all. He would have said that I am a poet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's where his interest lay, I believe.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree.
But he was able to get more money by writing the other things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. I mean, you're going to do that if you're going to get paid more.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and another thing that most people may not think of is during that period of history, what we're calling horror was normal day activities for these people.
Mm-hmm.
This was not horror to him because he didn't even know what horror was. This is something because they were facing leprosy, they were facing Black Death, cholera, typhoid,
premature burial.
Yeah.
There was a lot of horrifying things going all around them at that time.
So to him, that was not horror. That was just everyday life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much why it was prominently written about, is because it was something that was happening to everybody.
Yeah, that's a very excellent point there, Jeanie. Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I mean the Victorian period and the Victorians, all the funeral practices, the everything, just the I did a lot of research for Asphodels on this. And
the posing of the dead people, taking pictures of the dead people sitting up.
Yeah. Oh, I know. But I mean, like,
which freaks me out.
Started from 1837 to 1901. And that time period, I mean, it is the true Gothic time period, but I don't know that they would have even called it Gothic fiction back then. But I agree with Jeanie. It was everyday life. That's what was going on.
When I first read the thing where the vent where someone could holler out after they got buried and because they weren't really dead, that just really oh my God, that's just horrible. I can't even imagine being buried alive.
Yeah.
To Dr. Jeff's point,
and that was common.
I'm sorry,
that was common. They were doing that back in those days. They didn't have the machines to hook them up to see if they were still alive or not. If they were passed out, they just assumed they were dead.
Mm-hmm.
So did Dr. Jeff's point about the poet uh, aspect, in the story, if I'm remembering correctly, the minister is kind of disparaged as being a poet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And but in the end, being the poet is what made the minister so much smarter than the average person, than a mathematician. So it isn't. I viewed this as being a large part. Well, not a large part, but part of this was a commentary on poets. I thought,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what Poe considers himself.
Yeah.
I
So
agree.
he's placing himself, I think, in the story uh, with his stand-in for a poet as somebody who thinks beyond mere mathematical science.
Yeah.
And to me, it's once again an argument to the left brain versus the right brain people.
Yes.
The creators versus the logicians. People who think logically are linear thinkers. They cannot think outside the box. They cannot see anything without, knowing the every little detail, the purview. They can't see beyond reality. And then where you have the creators who on this side, that's their domain is outside the box. It is in the mist, in the mystical of the world. And so therefore that elevates them above the other one so they can see what can't be seen, so to speak.
Right.
And that's kind of what he, in my opinion, before this was thing, but that was kind of what he was alluding to, is that the one character is both poet and magician. Or
Mm-hmm.
not magician,
Mathematician.
mathematician. It still
Yeah.
started with an M. I was close. Okay. The poet and the mathematician, where the mathematician thinks himself righteous
Superior.
and very smart because they have all the answers. They can see
Right.
that x to the second power plus what was it, p times something equals q. I can't remember what the formula was in the story completely. It was x to the second power plus uh something p
Oh
equals
my
q.
gosh, how
But
can you
anyway,
remember that?
I mean, it's just one of those things. It's like I taught algebra for years.
Yeah,
um
I'm not a mathematical person. I'm
But
lucky to
it's
balance
like
my
he
checkbook.
felt himself, and this is another thing that Poe was writing in the story, is that because he saw himself both a poet and mathematician, he felt that the mathematician part was the smartest of the two
Right.
because he
Right.
knew the answers, but
Mm-hmm.
he did not realize that the poet was the one that could circumvent and
Right.
cause everyone else to not see how, and I hate to say it, but I don't want to say this, but how stupid they were
Mm-hmm.
because they couldn't see things that weren't
Right.
truly there.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's why to me this whole story is all about mentalists. And this is why it had Sherlock Holmes marked all over it for me. Because
Yeah.
I'm like, so, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle got this right here, Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
All
Jeannie,
right. And
what?
I
That's
can
where it's
definitely
going.
see this now with this discussion. I feel like I'm maybe appreciating the story a little bit more than I did originally.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
Jeannie, the part you're
Mhm.
talking about, that this is a quote taken out of it. You are mistaken. I know him well. He is both. As poet and mathematician, he would reason well. As poet, profoundly. As mere mathematician, he could not have reasoned at all, and thus would have been at the mercy of the prefect.
Mm.
Yeah.
And the prefect, like a little bit before that, he said feels, and he has feels is italicized. So I think it's kind of alluding to that the prefect feels, thinking that all fools are poets, and the feels is italicized because the prefect feels or thinks that poets, they only have emotions, they don't have logic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it
So
makes sense because the
yeah.
prefect being someone who follows procedures and thinks procedures will find all the answers and will
Mm-hmm.
lead to all the answers doesn't see how a fool who cannot follow a simple procedure or think to follow a simple procedure
Mm-hmm.
can best him pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, like I said, that was like the whole story for me was nothing but Poe just laying it out there with the whole left brain versus right brain versus, thinkers versus non-thinkers and all that. So this was a story to me, and like I told Karma at the very beginning, is where Poe got to be as sarcastic and as lambasting as he could be to just let it all out and just say, hey,
Mm.
you know, don't just pigeonhole yourself into one thing. Think more for how things people don't see and go for that route. It's kind of, and it goes back to Robert Frost and that one poem that I love the most, The Road Not Taken. You know,
Mm.
it's like, should you follow that trail that is, so long? I'm not quoting from the poem because I haven't read it in like 20 years. So, but should you follow along behind something that is well laid out in front of you, or should you take a chance and follow something that's never been discovered? So, and
Yeah.
that to me is the whole premise of the Purloined Letter is just where Poe gets to just let it all out and saying, if you think and you pigeonhole and you have tunnel vision, you can't, or a set mind, you can't have a mindset. So that's
I agree
my
with you, Jeannie. I agree
that's
with
my
you.
soapbox of the Purloined Letter.
Hmm.
Okay.
I think you're right, Jeannie.
Yeah.
The the quote I would add to what Carmen had read is Dupin had said that uh, was talking about how the minister is not altogether a fool, and G, the prefect, says, "Not altogether a fool," said G, "but then he is a poet, which I take to be only one remove away from a fool."
Mm-hmm.
And that's when Dupin says, I've been guilty of a certain amount of doggerel myself. So
Yeah.
kind of, saying, hey, I count myself in the poet category as well. So I think all this underlines what you're saying, Jeannie, which is um, what we take to be kind of straightforward understanding of science, et cetera, is leaving out a major kind of artistic aspect of understanding reality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, you
Yeah.
can't be a poet without having some kind of logical thinking, and you can't be a logical thinker without being a poet. I mean, that's my view of life. Because I believe there are, the rules of order are there for a reason, but at the same time, it doesn't fit every situation perfectly because not every situation is in the same purview and takes place at the same time. And it's kind of like being a teacher. You have 30 kids in the classroom. You have 30 different people that see and think and do and differently.
Hmm.
And you cannot, yes, you want to be fair and give them all the same opportunities, but at the same time, what a situation may happen to one could happen to another, but they can be two outcomes. Can be the
Yeah.
same situation, but you have two outcomes because it would base on what the kid or what, followed that. So that to me is like it comes down to it. As a mathematician, yes, you like everything to be orderly and logically. This is why it comes back to me for Star Trek. This is why I love Spock. Spock is one of my favorites because he has a logical mind because he's Vulcan, but then he's got human blood in him. So then he's having to fight the part that wants to think like a human. And everybody knows that in Star Trek, humans were so uncultured, uncouth that they just cray cray on
Mm.
the do all these things that that people like, what are you doing? But then you have even Spot going, really? Come on. All right. So live long and prosper and don't be stupid is kind of what his saying was, in my opinion, because he just added in the last under his breath. But yeah, I mean, it just. Do you remember that episode, the Star Trek episode of the original one, where it was an alternate universe, and Spock was like this uh 60s hippie with a goatee or
Mirror,
something.
mirror.
Yeah, I think
Yes,
that's the
that's
I,
one.
it.
I
Transporter
remember that one.
malfunction.
Yeah, it was their
Yeah.
evil. It was their evil selves.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that to me, that is the Purloined Letter. There you go. There you
Interesting.
go.
Well, something I just looked up because I was kind of curious because are is the reason Poe did not use names and just initials was because he was protecting people, was there some kind of scandal? Well, I didn't find a romantic scandal, but apparently in 1844, I'm going to read this. This is from Google. A major scandal occurred in Britain known as the Post Office Espionage Scandal, where it was revealed that Home Secretary Sir James Graham authorized the secret opening of mail, including letters sent to exiled Italian nationalist Giuseppe Mazzini. While not a case of lost letters revealing aristocrats, this incident involved the British government spying on foreign radicals and sharing information with continental authorities, causing a massive political uproar regarding privacy and surveillance. So,
So I remember reading a little bit about this, but I didn't know all that information. That's interesting.
yeah, I googled it to see if there were
Was that
were
1844?
that was 1844.
Kind of makes sense.
I have no idea if that has anything to do with Poe getting an idea from that, or
Well,
just
do you think it might have been Poe getting the idea, or what about the people that were publishing him?
I don't know.
That'd be interesting to find out, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
It definitely would.
Or he could have just wrote it like that without putting actual names, just so people could infer what they wanted to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Which
absolutely.
that wouldn't be surprising either.
No, it wouldn't. Not with Poe. It'd be like, yeah.
No.
Or I'm just gonna mess with your head and John, not even put a
Yep,
right year.
there
I
you
mean,
go.
that was my
Yep,
thing. Why do you put a
yep.
dash on the years? Just put the year.
Yeah, and that'll drive people crazy for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
are you talking 18? We could do 1811. We could do 1874. Who knows? Right in the future, right in the past, right? Pick a number in 1800. Who cares? Why are you leaving it blank? It's like, really, really.
Now, one other thing that I'm kind of curious about is, did Poe invent the hiding in plain sight, I guess, trope? Would you call it a
No,
trope?
I wouldn't think so.
And it's
If
an
I
idiom.
remember correctly, um, wasn't it? Wasn't there something similar to that in like Dumas' Three Musketeers?
I
Well,
don't
it's
know.
been so long since I've read that. I was
Probably.
in high school.
Yeah, I think there might have been an allusion to the hiding in plain sight in previous works, but not to the point to where it brought as much attention as Poe did in the Purloined Letter. So I don't
Hmm.
think, I mean, to me, I don't think he was the quotation marks your father of the trope with the hidden in plain view, in my opinion. So I
I'm
Well,
would
sure
think
you're
it
right
was.
about that.
So,
I will say
according
this.
to
Yeah,
according
go
to
ahead.
ChatGPT, which is never wrong,
Ugh.
um, it says yes. Edgar Allan Poe is widely credited with popularizing, if not inventing, the hiding
Yeah,
in plain sight trope.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah.
it would be very curious to know where that came from. Like,
Well, and I'm sitting here thinking the dates of when Poe was writing and when Dumas was writing are those pretty close? I'd have to look that up.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm looking it up.
Bless
Dumas
you.
wrote or lived from 1802 to 1870. His works were 1829 and to 18 to up to his death.
Mhm.
So he was born a little bit before Poe and lived a lot longer
A
after
lot
Poe.
longer afterwards.
So
Well, and you know, the French loved Poe,
yes,
loved Poe. So I'm
absolutely.
sure that there was some writings going on by the French that would be mirroring things with Poe. There would have to be because they loved him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would totally agree with that.
I mean, I think like probably more so than any other European country that I've ever seen. That when what
Mm-hmm.
investigation I've done, the French just thought he was great.
Yeah.
They also love Jerry Lewis. So what's your point?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I remember that now that you mention it. Oh, that's funny.
Right. Any other thoughts about the Purloined Letter?
This is a good one. Thanks for bringing it up.
This was Cheryl's idea, and I hate that she had to miss out tonight.
Mhm. Well, she can
Bummer.
watch our tape of it.
Yes, absolutely.
Hi,
Abs-
Cheryl.
Yeah.
yes. Hey,
Hi.
Cheryl.
Hi, Cheryl.
Bless you, Cheryl.
Yes. Well, and I knew we would get to this one eventually because it's I think 3 or 4 years ago we did Murders in the Rue Morgue, and then like a year later we did Marie Roget, and then
Mhm.
now we're finishing out the Dupin trilogy, I guess you could say. And so Dupin no more.
Mhm.
Yes.
At least for now.
Yeah. Maybe 4 or 5 years from now, we can rerun one of the stories.
Yeah, I missed
Absolutely.
the Roget
Absolutely.
one. I'd like to do that sometime.
It was a good discussion.
I bet it
It really
was.
was. Yeah. And let's see, next month, we'll go ahead and share that out. We pull up the calendar. Next month, we have on March 31st, there's actually 5 Tuesdays.
Hmm.
We're doing, let's see, I think that is the
A
man
man
of
of the
the crowd.
crowd.
Yes. And then in April, it'll be April 28th. And I am forgetting which one we decided on.
It was a poem, wasn't it?
Oh, yes. It is Spirits of the Dead.
Oh, yes, right.
Because that's, I think, a lot of
Poetry
people
month.
that's a favorite. Go ahead, Jeannie.
I said it's poetry month, so we picked a
Yes.
poem for the
Yeah.
I was
poetry
going
month.
to say we've got the poet already picked out, but we're picking a
Yeah,
poem.
exactly. We already got the poet. We just had to pick the poem.
Exactly.
I'm like,
Yeah.
new poet? What? Where?
Never know.
Absolutely.
I'm
And
sorry,
so
that's
then
the 28th.
of April,
Yes.
Yes.
yes, April 28th. Yeah, we try to stick to that last Tuesday of the month if at all possible. Just that way it's easy to remember
It's easy to
too.
remember. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And then anything else y'all can think of? I was
Did you
actually
say May already? We have something picked out for May or not?
let's see, I'm trying to remember. I don't have my note. Well, I do have my
That's
notes.
fine.
Hold on.
That's
Nope, I
fine.
do actually.
No hurry.
It's actually turned, you can't see it, but it's turned to our entire season 5. Let's see,
Mm.
May. Actually, May, we were going to discuss the TV show Wednesday and just kind
Oh,
of the Poe elements from that. So that'll be fun.
So I need to watch that because I haven't watched it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me
it's
too. I haven't either, Gary.
yeah. I'll
How many
probably
seasons? How many seasons does it have?
two.
And it's on
Two.
Netflix, right?
Yes. Hmm.
Okay. I'll be sure to watch it.
It's a
I hear
fun.
it's good.
Yeah, it is. Season 1 I liked better, but I did like season 2. And again, there's tons of Poe elements in there. So
I may have to
there'll be
take
a lot of
notes.
neat discussion and everything.
Sounds good.
Well, I was gonna show y'all something. Give me 2 seconds. I gotta take my background off because it won't show without it. So I have 2 books that came out. I know it's kind of crazy having something come out back to back days, but my birthday was yesterday, and since poetry is so personal, I figured that this should come out. So Eclectic Expressions came out yesterday on my birthday. And so this is poetry I've written. I can't remember the oldest poem that's in here, but it's at least probably 20 years worth, at least, maybe more. And then today, the second book of the Gothic Garden series, The Asphodels, came out.
Oh,
And so this is
I
the
saw
paper.
that on Barnes and Nobles, darling.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I saw that on Barnes and Nobles today.
Oh, yay. I have
Yeah.
not gotten the hardback yet, but the paperback looks fantastic.
And I didn't even notice the author. Isn't that awful?
Oh, my,
But I saw the cover
oh, that's funny. And
and the title.
Jeannie did the covers. So,
Mm.
Oh,
hi,
really?
Jeannie.
Yeah.
She did an
Very
excellent job.
nice.
Yes.
Good job,
Thank you.
Jeannie.
Thank you.
Congrats. Yay.
Yay.
Anyway, I
Yeah.
just want to share those with you because I'm excited. So,
and if you haven't done so already, get the flavored
Congratulations.
raven.
Oh, yes.
thank
The
you.
flavored
Thank you.
red.
And one other the reason why I did have these come out back to back, because like I was born on the 23rd. My parents were married in 1956, and so today marks, if they were still alive, their 70th wedding anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like,
That's perfect for the story.
it is. I mean, and no, my mother was not a twin, but because there's twins in this book, but she had sisters that were twins. It's not based off of them, but it was just like very fitting to have a Gothic romance come out on their anniversary to celebrate that, especially since it would have been a big one if they were still alive. So,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Very
yeah.
cool. Very cool.
So anyway, any other thoughts about anything Poe related or anything?
I feel like writing a letter.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'll purloin it.
Who
But
do I
okay.
write a letter to? Sorry.
Yeah, I'll purloin it. Yes.
I think
But
sometimes the internet purloins our emails, though.
oh, the internet purloins a lot of stuff. I'm just saying.
Yes, absolutely. Well, and one other thing too, I don't know if y'all have watched it yet, but Dr. Jeff mentioned Mark Dawidziak. We just had him on, just released the episode at the end of last week. I was having actually some computer issues, and so it got released a little bit later than we wanted. But it's isn't it an hour and a half discussion on Rod Serling and the Twilight Zone? It's an hour and a half, Jeannie, isn't it?
Yep. Yep, it is.
Ooh, I'd like to see
Great
that.
listen. Mark is so knowledgeable. He has his book. With everything
great.
I learned from the Twilight Zone.
Mm-hmm.
That's the title, and I've read it. It's phenomenal. So
Oh, so
check that
I didn't
out.
realize he had that book.
Yes. Oh yeah. He's got some good ones. So yeah, definitely check that out. But other
And
than
be on the
that,
lookout for author madness, right?
do what now?
Be on the lookout for author madness.
Yes, thank you, Steve. Yes, I was going to say Holly and Steve and myself. Technically, with Jeannie with the cookbook, she's kind of doing that side of that, and I'm doing I'm going to be promoting the Asphodels. And so yes, so that's coming out March 9th through the 14th. So it'll just be a lot of stuff on social media, and then we'll have our author madness video that will come out with little videos about all the different authors participating. So yeah, we have lots of stuff coming up. Poetry contest is in April again, and then we're going to probably be contacting some of you guys very soon too, because we are going to be doing Doomsday again. We're going to do it a little bit differently this year, but I've got to talk to Alex Zavostovich about it to make sure he's cool with it. And so more on that later.
Yep.
And that's
Stay
May.
tuned for the Doomsday details.
Yes.
So we got Author Madness that's coming up March the 9th through the 14th. The
Mhm.
poetry contest begins on April the 1st through May 15th. More to
Yes.
come on that.
And Dr. Jeff and Holly are going to be judges, and we're working on some more judges. So,
yes.
I have an article about Dracula on a website called vampiresandSlayers.net.
oh, okay.
And then over the weekend, I was quoted in the New York Times in an
I saw
article
that.
about vampires.
I saw that. I did.
Oh, good. Yeah.
It
Well,
came
that's
up on my
awesome.
Yeah, a
feed
couple of
somewhere.
weeks
Yeah.
ago, the writer wrote to me and asked me to give him some quotable comments about vampires and dark shadows, and so he used a
Okay.
little bit of one. So,
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I
Nice.
saw that and put
and
it in the
then
What's that
group.
I
It says, I
website?
know that guy.
then the other day I was the guest on a podcast called The Late Late Horror Show. I've been on there 3 or 4 times, and we talked about our favorite horror movies from every decade, from the 1920s through the 1990s.
Oh, it's the late horror show.
Right, yes.
So
Okay.
Late Late
is
Horror
that
Show.
somewhere to be watched?
Oh, if you go down a few on my Facebook page,
Okay.
Okay.
it's maybe
I'd be
4 or
interested in
5
seeing
things
it.
down. You can find that.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, is that the same thing for to read the article?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yes. There's a hyperlink for that too.
Like,
Or I guess I don't know. I don't think it may be the whole article. I'm not sure.
Okay.
okay, what was the? I know you just said the web address. What was that again?
VampiresandSlayers.net.
Okay,
And he
I'm
says it's
typing
on
it in
his
my phone.
Facebook page, Holly.
Yeah.
Vampires and
Oh, it's on there.
Slayers.net. I just typed it in the chat. It's not going to come up as a hyperlink, but at least it'll be, yeah. Does that sound
Okay, cool.
right, Dr.
Yeah.
Jeff?
Yeah, if not, if I can't find, I'll go on. It's been a while since I've gone on Facebook. I'll go on Facebook. I've been so bad.
Awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome. I was going to say, and I know, Holly, don't you have something coming up soon? Something new coming out? I know Piggy just came out, your short story. Yay.
Yeah.
Yay.
That's what I
Oh,
think.
thank you, Dr. Jeff.
Yeah. I'll say, well, I'll save it. I won't bore everybody. I'll save that for Author Madness.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
And then Steve, do you have anything coming out soon?
Not soon.
Not soon.
Like 2 months ago, my Poe cocktail book came out, and that's
Yes.
what we're writing.
And
on
it's
right now.
awesome. It's awesome. Definitely check it out. Yes.
I guess Gary and I are the odd people out.
Yeah.
I don't have anything coming out. Well, technically, I guess I do, considering I'm working on the cover for your next book, Carmen.
Yes, I've started my 3rd book in the Gothic Garden series, and I'm going to keep it a little under wraps right now. Holly knows about it, but I'm going to keep it
can't wait
under
to
wraps.
read it.
You seem to be enjoying keeping it under wraps, Carmen. Big smile on your face.
Oh, yes. Well, I'm going to, this is just a little hint, I'm going to keep a closed mouth.
Oh, yeah. That was.
I know that was bump.
And
Yeah,
Carmen,
There you go.
Who painted that painting above you? Is that Matisse?
Oh, this one?
Mm-hmm.
That is actually my painting. Let me see if I can
Comparing
get-
her to Matisse.
closer.
Look at that. It's beautiful.
It is called There's No Place Like Poe.
Oh.
It's the green chair it's technically kind of me reading Poe, and the cup has a house as the cream kind of on top, even though I actually
see
drink
the
black
house
coffee.
now.
Then there's the red table with my Poe the cats. That's him. And then the shelf has I think it's a raven, and then it's got books that have little Poe titles. And that actually I was nominated for a Saturday Visitor Award the very first year they did the Saturday Visitor Awards. It got nominated. I did not win, but I was like thrilled to be nominated for that.
Yes, you should be.
Thank you.
You should be.
Okay,
Yeah,
Steve,
so
you just freaked the crap out of me. That blind behind his head started coming
Yeah,
down, and
sorry,
I thought
it's on a timer. Sorry.
I thought something was about to chop your head off. I was like, what the? It's like,
oh my
don't mess
goodness.
with me. Don't mess with me.
Oh, that's
Kind of
too
like the
funny.
guillotine, huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
Because I thought, well, first of all, I thought something was crawling out the wall because I didn't dawn on me the blinds were moving. I thought something was coming up the wall, and I was like,
I should have given a trigger warning. Sorry about that.
Oh,
that's fine.
well, and
So
this,
Fortunado.
yes, this is Fortunato. Montresor is
Oh,
some, I don't know where he is. He's a tuxedo cat, but Fortunato likes to zoom around the house, and he's a talker. And he's got, even as little as he is this little deep voice, and it's just funny.
Yeah, he's a cat. That marks it right there.
Oh yes.
All right. Well, I think we had a great discussion, even though it
Yeah.
wasn't a fan favorite of a story.
Mm-hmm.
Still not as
Things
bad as
make
the
a lot
ones
more
with Tummy,
sense
but
now.
okay. Yeah.
Oh, there's
Oh,
the
there
other
was
kitty.
Montresor. I was gonna say
oh,
Montresor. There he is.
Well, I'm glad it makes more sense now, Gary. So,
It
but
does.
Yeah.
That's why I enjoy some of these discussions. I think I get a lot out of it.
Yeah. I do. I learned from you guys.
I
It's
know I do.
awesome.
yeah. I mean that's
My
pretty much
cat's
why we
upstairs in the
started it.
recliner by herself.
Well, of course, she's waiting on you so you can come
Yeah,
sit
she's
down
waiting
and
for
so
me to
she can lay on you.
return. She usually sleeps with me, so
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because she likes being underneath the blanket.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, our heat died upstairs 3 days ago, so we've been using electric
Oh.
heaters, and the guy's supposed to
Oh
come tomorrow to
no.
fix it.
oh.
Yeah, it's been
Oh.
gotten down into 16 degrees, and
oh,
our electric bill is going to be atrocious. I have a feeling.
Oh my goodness.
That's not good.
Oh
Well,
Yeah.
my.
hopefully it'll get
Yeah.
fixed and
We
you'll be
have that
warm.
hot water baseboard heat, and he said he thought the pump was original, and my house was built in 1961, so it died.
Mm.
Oh
Ooh.
wow.
It finally gave out. I couldn't take it
Finally
anymore.
gave out. I won't have to oil it anymore. He's like, well, we can fix this one and get parts, or we could get you a new one and you wouldn't have to oil it. Sold. Let's do it.
Hmm.
Here, check. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, yeah,
Well,
guys, thank you. This has been awesome, and look forward to next month with the man of the crowd. That's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
I bet that's
Yeah.
and see
That's
you
one that
guys
I've
at
actually
Author
read before.
Madness.
yes, and
Yep.
Author
There you
Madness.
go.
All right.
Good night, everybody.
good night. Thank
Bye.
you.
Congratulations, Carmen.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Carmen.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
week.
Yes, y'all
You
too. All right, we'll see you next month.
All right, bye, guys.
Bye.
Tambourine, tambourine.
Bye. Jazz hands. Jazz hands. You can't see them, but they're here.
Oh, let me stop recording.
I was wondering.